What is going on? Welcome to the stream this morning, tuning in all across the world. Let me know in chat where you're tuning in from. We have a pretty crazy stream today. Just wanted to cover the news real quick. Hopefully you guys are doing well this morning, even though the market is absolutely insane. So we're going to be diving into all that. SVB Bank, USDC, Circle, what's been going on? If you're in VeVe world, maybe you don't know. Maybe you're a VeVe head. Maybe you're an OG in the crypto space. Maybe not. So we're going to talk about that. What's going on in this current market situation. All right. So let's go ahead and just dive right in. All right. First up, we have... let me actually go over to this one over here. There we go. It's a little bit better view, and I don't have my other awkward camera right there. We have the USDC chart here, and as you can see, the latest Chainlink price. Chainlink is a price feed oracle, so it's reporting that price data. It's almost 100% pegged. So again, you know, yesterday, and you can see here USDT actually on a DEX price is actually somewhat depegged from USDC a little bit, but of course DAI is at 1-to-1 ratio, and that's kind of the report on what's happening with USDC. So obviously with SVB Bank, which is Silicon Valley Bank, essentially went belly up right after the whole Silvergate. I was breaking that on Twitter. You know, a lot of people in the VeVe community don't know, but you know, when it happens and the stuff hits the fan, then people start figuring the stuff out. And I'm typically the first at the tip of the spear in terms of reporting this news and how it could affect the market. I was right about FTX. We're right here on the channel about what had happened with Silvergate and how it impacted. We talked about this with Chris Coffey over on Degen Dad's podcast. So if you're following the channel, you are always in the know. If you're following me on Twitter, you have always been in the know, and hopefully you were able to make moves and get out of some of those, you know, especially FTX, how it completely just collapsed and unraveled. So again, we're seeing this type of unraveling in the markets here. Again, why I reported on Silvergate Bank. I was the first one to tweet about that with the exposure to Circle and how Circle basically, you know, with their cash out, had stopped their cash out on these NFT platforms, and how that affected the entire crypto market as a whole, not only in the micro, but in the macro. And of course, Circle, they run USDC. We saw that unravel. So again, we are always at the spear of the head of the spear in this channel and on this on my Twitter. So anyways, kudos to you if you've been following along in the process here. So if you're new tuning in to the live stream, make sure you hit that sub if you're enjoying the content. If you want the alpha here on the stream, you're going to have to hit that sub so you get notified. Sometimes YouTube forgets to notify some people, apparently. So you do want to make sure you do that. G-Flow, everything pumping today. Do you think there will be a slight pullback? I think there will, because we're going to take a look here at the news. We can see here, First Republic dropped 70%. Leads decline in stock banks despite government's backstop of SVB. So again, there's bank runs going on live right now. I mean, it's Monday morning. Banks are opening up. We're seeing bank runs happening across the board here. You can see 2-year Treasury yield post biggest 3-day decline after probably a sell-off, or you know, the Treasury yield posting a 3-day decline since aftermath of 1987 stock crash. Charles Schwab, fears head of worst day ever, dropped 20% as fears of banking crisis deepen. Again, this is dictated, and this is happening because people in the market what they're doing is they're being super emotional. Even though it's been just Silvergate Bank, people are running to their banks, trying to freak out. You know, these media outlets reporting this as if it's going to kind of set in across the board. And now it's kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy. Emotional traders, emotional markets, and emotional, you know, retail people, and, you know, obviously people just concerned about what's going on and causing a lot of panic in the market. This is going to come down to, you know, our leadership in this country and regulators, how they can smooth over this market. Maybe they don't want this to be smoothed over, but if I'm in their shoes, I'm calming the market down. I think it's their fiduciary responsibility to do so, but I don't think they're going to do that. I think obviously we haven't seen that. We haven't seen anybody really step in terms of leadership, in terms of regulators, in terms of literally anybody try to smooth this out. If anything, you have people in senators like Elizabeth Warren actually spooking the market and really like doing the exact opposite here. So again, this is going to be, you know, in this current situation does not look good. We have other YouTubers trying to say that there's going to be a bull run. I don't know. I'm not so sure about that. I think maybe like, you know, I've seen like a short squeeze on Bitcoin. Now I could see that being some of the macro here. I mean, it's a possibility. Okay, so we're going to take a look at Bitcoin. All right, let's take a look at Bitcoin real quick. It's posting these gains right now. So these are the gains that's being posted. A lot of this is going to be driven by people exiting US dollars and getting into Bitcoin because they're hedging themselves against the crash of what's going on, right? They don't want to be hedged in inside of a banking infrastructure. They want to be hedged inside of protected environments like Bitcoin, where yes, it could drop, but what's going to happen is that, like, if everybody's fearful, this is why Bitcoin was invented. So I do see that point here. And as you can see, we were charting this and it broke through my pattern probably a few weeks back. Look at that. Look at that. This is why I chart, man. This is exactly why I chart. Broke through this wedge and ripped. Okay, absolute ripped. So typically these are, you know, especially these wedges, if they're pointed sideways, it can usually indicate towards a bearish flag. But we're at the point, maybe this is done, just like this double top is just done playing out. So we'll see, though. We'll see. You can see here on the chart that it was way oversold. So these are where I like to make entries. I actually made a trade yesterday in the market at the lows. So I got in, not at Bitcoin. I just was too lazy. I should have did Bitcoin, but I didn't. I wanted like more gains. So I went with a altcoin. So let's take a look at Ethereum. Ethereum's pumping as well. It as well has a bearish flag. Now this could, and it's approaching the top of the flag as well. So we will see here what happens with Ethereum here in the macro. This could point to indication as what may happen with Bitcoin. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna rechart this here. It's coming into really a channel at this point. So we're gonna rechart this real fast here on stream. So Bitcoin kind of coming into this channel. Ethereum's telling a different story. Ethereum is going to have the Shanghai upgrade next month. So this could have some impact on Ethereum's ecosystem. We'll see. Bitcoin is doing king things, though. Remember, Bitcoin is the king of crypto. But again, we're talking about the banking sector. Not so good. This is kind of showing maturity, in my opinion, of Bitcoin, if we're being completely honest here. Now, again, here, this is Biden reporting from CNBC. This is how capitalism works, as Biden of SVB. Even though that years ago that, you know, the banks were bailed out, too big to fail, all that stuff, right, in the past. All right, so here we go. Just more reporting across the board. Again, First Republic drops 70% across the board here. Dow Jones jumps 200 points, which is very odd. We'll take a look at that. If we can, let's go to stocks here. So we got the Dow Jones reporting kind of some points here, some positive today, which is kind of weird. So I guess, yeah, not really sure. I guess this was oversold as well. Let's take a look at the NASDAQ composite as well, posting some gains there. Again, some of these were oversold. Maybe the SVB was overhyped, and maybe that was already pre-baked in. Again, this is what the markets do. This is how traders, you know, these I guess commercial entities work. They already bake in these prices, cause max pain and fear, and then they go and do a quick thing like this and try to get ahead of retail traders, and then they redump. So we'll see. Again, though, Bitcoin posting some pretty significant gains here. Can it hold on? Can this momentum keep going? It's up 10% on the day. Look at this ripping through here. And this is going to be the one I'm looking out for, Ethereum. This could be the play right here because, again, it's approaching oversold on the 7-day RSI. But if this breaks through, you could see a little bit of a run here, possibly to 2K. But we'll see. Again, I'm not so sure on this market. If you're not experienced, I'm staying out of the market. If you're not, you know, if you don't have your due diligence done here. So let's take a look at the crypto market. All right, let's take a look to see what's happening in crypto or NFT land. All right. So we're seeing daily volume here as really as a whole. Look at this, OpenSea kind of trending down, Blur kind of trending down. The highs of February, again, kind of trending down. This is what I was kind of monitoring over here. We saw an increase of volume, and I thought maybe we'll see like an increase here, but again, not so sure right now in terms of what's going on. But on the flip side, if Ethereum, goes parabolic here, like Bitcoin has, and kind of breaking through that descending triangle, we will see. Again, monitoring this situation. If Ethereum runs, I could see the NFT actually market being effective in somewhat of a positive way, because as you know, people post gains, they like to get undervalued NFTs. They like to get into some of these NFTs and use that actually as a hedge. A lot of people saying NFTs actually, have dipped quite a bit. They have, but if you're looking at blue chip collections, since mint price, they're actually up still. So again, it just depends on where you're making your moves. People that have made their moves in the bull market, probably not so happy as everything dumped off. But again, if you're approaching this wise, if you're experienced, if you've been through these crashes before, you kind of know what's going on here. You know what is where you can make your entries and how you can post gains, even in this bear market, even in the crypto winter here. We're seeing plays right now in the market. So again, monitoring this situation. Let's take a look at IMX posting massive gains here, undervalued. Again, those were massive dips from SVB being baked in. And we'll take a look at OMI. OMI still pretty down low. I mean, this was way below RSI 7, below 30, hitting off 20 levels. So that one was posting gains. I typically have a rule of thumb though. I like to take a look at now this is let me see, why are my indicators here not showing up? Anyways, we have RSI 14. I typically don't like to trade off of that until it hits 30 down here. It was almost there. OMI's lagging quite a bit. So as you can see, it was like way up here just weeks ago. Now it's appearing like it's kind of bottom. As you can see here, I was charting this pattern here. It broke there. I said it could be a fake out breakout, and it did a fake out breakout. And now we're here. So I'm gonna go ahead and rechart this bad boy as well. Again, this is kind of a weird setup, consolidation in this price channel. The trend is your friend kind of scenario, but I'm not trading until I see things hit off of certain levels. So again, we're coming off of this channel. We're going to rechart this bad boy here. Yeah, this is not my typical trade. The markets are just out of whack here. Again, staying out of the markets if you're not, if you're not like savvy with this and you don't know what's really going on. Probably not the best idea to trade, not financial advice. None of this is financial advice. This is entertainment only. But yeah, this is just reporting on the macro here. Again, SVB, one of the banks affected by the, affected by Silvergate and affected by these bank runs, and more bank runs are happening across the board. Could we see these, these markets are pumping? Will this continue? That's really the question I have. As markets are kind of recovering in the stock market, will people kind of take these gains back off the table and get them back into the stock market? That's going to be the question that I'm going to see play out. I would like to see play out. I'm not going to try to, buy into this pump. In my situation, if I was to do what I was doing yesterday, is looking at these bottoms here, and that's where I was getting in. If I'm seeing this green candle here, I'm locking in gains. That's exactly what I'm doing here. Now it's approaching oversold territory on the RSI 7, and maybe waiting until this maybe peaks out here. I don't know. If I'm a safe trader, which I am, I would be looking at taking gains back off the table and waiting for this thing to maybe hit off this frame, maybe fluctuate back here in the channel. We'll see here though. A lot of YouTubers are trying to, and a lot of influencers out there trying to say that this is going to pump, that, Bitcoin's going to squeeze and all this. We're going to see face ripping gains and all this. I'm not so sure about that. We'll see though. We'll continue to monitor the situation. If more money and more institutions are coming into into Bitcoin, you'll see more, if we see more of that, I could see that. You can see volume also picking up right here. This is another important indicator of what's going on. A lot of things happening seeing right now across the board in Bitcoin. You can see this trend upward, kind of down, and now it's back up. Could we see more volume? Definitely seeing it right now on the charts. So it's important to watch volume, in my opinion. Now, if you're in Neo Tokyo and you're looking at these bytes, not a lot going on. I mean, this is my stable coin pretty much right now. This is one I got into as we're seeing the kind of charts here. Let's take a look at this. Let's chart this up real quick with the Neo Tokyo. All right, so Neo Tokyo coming in on a kind of a wedge pattern here. We'll see what happens. Could be nothing here. I believe bytes unlock pretty soon. Let me get rid of that guy. Really's been moving sideways. We'll see if something happens. Bollinger Bands here. This could be a play that we're seeing unfold here. Again, some of my coins that don't have a lot of volume liquidity haven't done anything. Look at this sideways. If anything, I a little bit of gains here. So I was joking on Twitter. Let's go to Twitter here real quick. Make sure you follow me on Twitter. I was joking. You know what's not shutting down is my SHIT coins. So I thought that was pretty funny. Again, just a joke, but yeah, I mean, we'll take a look at SILV2. It too has moved actually up a little bit of gains here on some of these coins that you wouldn't really consider like, you know, big mover coins, right? Again, these are on DEX. This is on like, you know, decentralized exchanges. So you can't obviously trade these on like a centralized, but look at this. Since the crash, it's actually gone up, fluctuated, and it's of course down now on today's news, but still the past few days and weeks, not so bad considering what's going on in the macro. So we're going to take a look here at Coinbase real quick. So Coinbase or CoinGecko, look at this green across the board. Again, maybe that's because Bitcoin is pumping, so these alts are pumping along with it. People, quote unquote, self-fulfilling prophecy saying that we could see face ripping gains because, again, people, if these bank runs, now this is kind of like really idealistic scenarios for people that have been in crypto for a long time, because this hasn't always been the case where people get out of banks to get into crypto. Typically before, if this happened, you would have probably seen people just panic and buy like gold, silver, or pull their money out, put it in a shoebox and just be done with it. But the fact that this is happening is pretty interesting. I mean, this is kind of a first. We haven't had this type of scenario before, not even in 2018. So I think the last time something big in the markets that have happened like this has been in the 1970s, and that was when inflation ran amok, and that's really the last time. And of course, crypto didn't exist back then, so what we're watching play out is actually pretty historical. And could this affect VeVe? It could. You know, that's something that we'll definitely keep an eye on. Now, again, people might take their gains off the table and invest in blue chip type of NFTs. I don't see this. I just don't see that, you know, NFTs across the board will be positively affected, you know, unless platforms like Blur like do something special for their, you know, I mean, they are already, but I just don't see it really driving up volume too much. We're seeing it kind of taper off in the short term here. Maybe after things settle down, things blow over, maybe that's when things will get going again. Maybe we'll see like a Solana summer type scenario where I think a certain ecosystem might do really well. I could definitely see that, but that's like we're like 3 months out from maybe something like that happening. Again, this might have to blow over for the NFT space to be really impacted in kind of a positive way, I guess. So we'll take a look at these daily volumes in the past 3 months. You can see Blur really dominating. OpenSea tapered off big time. A little bit of more volume here. Again, insane volume here in the past 2 weeks in terms of Blur. Like Blur has just taken a significant market share here in the NFT marketplace scenario. So, but if you look at the macro, again, it's tapered off here in March. You can see it spiked. Blur took a lot of market share, spiked. Now it's back down. Was Blur still taking a lot of market share, but we're noticing volume kind of taper off. Maybe we see a scenario like this where it kind of just moves sideways for a couple months, and then we'll have like that Solana summer type scenario situation in the NFT ecosystems. But again, that could be setting people up for a scenario where if you're smart, you're wise, and you do see a taper like this where you have time to invest in a valley like this. All right. So smart people are understanding that there could be a small valley, a lull in the next couple of months here, to where maybe you can get into a situation where you're maybe looking at a Grail situation. Maybe you're looking at these blue chips. That's going to be on you to see how this plays out in the scenarios. This is playing right into my thesis of what was going to happen. Now, I didn't think Bitcoin would do this well, to be honest, but this is good. This is good for crypto in terms of how people are viewing this in the macro and hedging against, banks and putting their money into crypto. So again, this is actually a good indication. I was skeptical that this could happen across the board here. So lots to talk about, lots to get into. Yeah, definitely a trap for them. We'll correct back to 17, 18K. We have 18 months, dumpy dump. Tuning in from Malaysia. What's going on, Malaysia? In the house. Good morning. I listen in very early still for me. Welcome, Daniel. Good morning. Good morning. Always. So called homie. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm kind of looking at in terms of what I'm doing, how I'm viewing this whole situation. Again, lots of crazy things happening. We're going to refresh this page. Probably some new news here on the CNBC website. Silver Lake, a CPP investment to acquire Qualtrics for 12. Okay, that's different news. This guy, U.S. may be stuck with sluggish growth and high inflation. Yeah, that's exactly what I see there happening. So this is what the macro of, will Bitcoin stay sticky in these types of situations? That's the question we should be really asking across the board. Let me close up down a few tabs here. And with inflation, sluggish growth, maybe Bitcoin goes sideways here, but as you can see, the channel looking a little bit better since this last here, kind of going sideways, somewhat of a trend up. Maybe we'll have to rechart this bad boy a little bit here. Will this continue to hold? That's going to be the question. Right now, it's hitting off this key level, this top. Could this be a cup and handle situation? So, one of my favorite charts is a cup and handle. And right now, we have a cup and a handle. So this very well could rip here in the short term. But it's hard to say because we're oversold here on the chart. So this is a situation that I'm definitely going to be monitoring, especially this chart with this type of pattern and situation going on right now. So yeah, quite something to be definitely paying attention to here in the market. What's going on in the macro. Be safe out there. Do your due diligence. Self-custody where possible. Of course, that's what I'm going to be doing. Self-custodying and doing what I can. Maybe if you have access to decentralized platforms or DEXs, that could be something there as well, where you're not having to stick your money into these centralized places. But at the same time, maybe some of these centralized places, trading platforms, maybe they're stronger than these banks. I mean, geez. Again, lots of people across the board tweeting on Twitter about literally about their exposure to SVB. So if we go here to SVB collapse. A lot of these companies, tweeting that they don't have exposure to SVB. Let me take a look here. SVB, see if we can find some latest tweets here. There's banks being halted across the board. Depositors on Friday, depositors today. Pretty funny memes as well. Anyways, a lot of things going across the board here. Yeah, that guy sold off right before the collapse. CoinDesk World. Let's see what's going on in CoinDesk World real quick. Customers can fully access funds. Bank Bridge. USDC stablecoin regains dollar peg, which, 3 billion. I mean, their total assets, that wasn't like super significant, but I get why it depegged and I get why it's repegging obviously now. Wow. So yeah, there's a lot going off across the board. Kind of similar situation to what happened with the FTX collapse when, you know, all these, you know, platforms, Web3 platforms and, exchanges, these crypto exchanges were saying like, we don't have exposure to FTX. Kind of seeing a similar situation here with SVB. You know, a lot of people tweeting, you know, we didn't have exposure to SVB. So again, what platforms have exposure? We should be asking those questions. I mean, even with VeVe, we don't even know if VeVe had exposure or not to SVB. So again, no idea what's going on in terms of VeVe. I mean, probably, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe they don't, maybe they do. Who knows? It would be interesting to find out though. Not a lot of NFT platforms aside from a few I've seen, like I think Myriad just tweeted this morning, they don't have exposure to SVB. Immutable X, another gaming Web3 ecosystem, also didn't have exposure to SVB. So it's good to know that some of these projects are tweeting out about that. I think Palm maybe tweeted about it, possibly. I don't know if Palm did or not. But I do know that Myriad, Immutable X, they both tweeted about that. Good on them. Kudos on them for doing that. More platforms should do this. This is very important in terms of transparency for retail traders, retail investors out there, and keeps everybody safe. Because if our assets are just up in there and we don't know what we don't know, then that affects us as a whole and really doesn't affect the company. If the company goes belly up, it doesn't really matter for them. I mean, it does, obviously, it affects their business, but if they file for bankruptcy, then it really is just a loss for retail people. So again, it's good to know that, some of these platforms, they're tweeting out, they're being transparent about that. I love that. I love transparency, man. So yeah, that's all I got to say about that. But yeah, that's really all I got for this stream. Just a lot to take in here, a lot to monitor over the next coming days and weeks, and maybe probably months. This is the pain I was expecting here. This was the kind of the catalyst that I was kind of hoping for in terms of that final capitulation point. Will we see it? Will we see this play out again over the next coming months? In terms of the price, will it affect Bitcoin? We'll monitor that, and you'll have to stay tuned for another stream. All right. That's all I got for this one. Be on the lookout for the next stream. Be sure to hit that sub bell notification so you don't miss any more streams like this. If you want to support, you know what to do. Throw up a free like if you enjoyed the stream, and we'll continue to do these. And be sure also, if you want to support the channel in free ways, you can join the membership for literally just $1 a month. YouTube takes like 30% of that, so I only make like 69 cents per membership. We'll give away a free let's see if we can give away a free membership before we sign off. So let's go ahead and do that giveaway right now before we sign off. So, and let me pause. Let me mute that bad boy. Let me see here. Membership. Let's go ahead and give one away right now. So you got to be quick. You got to turn on your memberships. You got to be quick. We're going to do this real fast. It's going to show up in chat, and you can claim it. Be on the lookout for that. G Money in the house. What's going on? I just want a day off from my day job. LOL, 9 weeks straight, 13 hours. What's up, Poor Man Printing? We got to have you on sometime. Poor Man Printing, we have been waiting for your VeVe content. We have. Blockchain Comics in the house. Gifted a membership. Let's go, Blockchain Comics. Good on you, man. Welcome to the Red Circle Army here on the channel. Thanos Gang in the house. Comment. Daniel Marquez in the house. GM or GL. All right. So, yo, there we go. Swinging on in to the membership there, the Spider-Man. Okay, cool. Well, shout out to Tim for joining as a subscriber, by the way. Tim Swears. I don't know how you say that. Shout out to Omi, SoCal Homie for the $4.99 dono as well. Latest super chat. Shout out to All Chat Gaming for highest super chat, $21.97. And shout out to Blockchain Comics for accepting that free membership in the house. On the house today. Welcome in, man. Yo, thanks, Kyle. You're welcome. You're welcome. All right, that's all we got for this one. Be safe out there. Much love. Be like an NFT. Be authentic. Be safe. And I will see you guys in the next stream. Peace. Oh, I hear some buzzing here, so I think somebody possibly. That could have been a late. Do we have somebody else? Okay, no. All right, peace. I'll see you guys later.